you in your personal life, you might have the mindset of being wicked, not being kind to people. It will definitely not lead you anywhere. It will lead you in a lot of pain and a lot of penury because your mindset thinks you should constantly destroy others to get your way. Impossible to get my way to the top. The truth is, in the end, you lose more than what you gain. You can still get to the top without being wicked, without being bitchy, and without being destructive. Everything is about your mind. So, truth has to be said. If your mind is wired wrongly, then definitely you have struggles in your life. Because your life is as important as anything. But also, your life is also as important as the joy and admiration it gives to generations yet unborn. There are some of you that when your name is going to be mentioned, it will be mentioned for evil. You have never given anything good to generations yet unborn. In fact, all you do is to collect and destroy from generations yet unborn. So it is your mind that rules your life. Nothing will be as important as the capacity of your mind. A good person will have a good mind. A bad person will have a bad mind. What is more important is how you work on your mind, how you can change your mind from the kind of mindset you have today to a mindset that brings about love, joy, happiness, peace, and the growth and development of other people. Everything you will ever be is a sum total of your faculties, your mind. The reason why you steal is because your mind has told you that you have to steal to be able to break even. You have a lot of examples to steal to be able to break even. But there are other people too that do not need to steal to get on in life. In fact, there's some saying that says, behind every great wealth, there's an element of crime. There have been some people that have wealth and impact the world, and there was no crime to their wealth. And they did legitimate businesses. They made a profit when they had to make a profit, and they spread that profit across board. Everything is your mind. The greatest prison you can be in is a prison of your mind. And a lot of people are chained to the prison of their mind. That's why success is far away from them. And good things do not come to them because of the prison of their mind. Your marital life, it is simply the prison of your mind that affects your marital life. Truth is, the mindset for you that says it is permissible to have a wife in the house and cheat on her is a wrong mindset. Because the day you said you do to that person in front of God and man, you said you were going to leave every other thing behind. And you said you were going to leave the capacity to chase other people behind. And when she says she's leaving, you want to start blackmailing her. But she told you all this while. She told you all this while. You knew that the consequence of what you were going to do was going to make her leave. You forget that even patience and forgiveness, definitely, people get tired of doing that over and over again. Or for you, you became very abusive. And your mindset, because you had been conditioned poorly, was to constantly abuse, being toxic, being unthinkable, being irrational. And when people say they cannot finally take all of this from you again, then it becomes problematic. And they leave and you start to complain. And because you're not ready to also change your mindset, you try to look for justifications. They don't like me. Most of the things that happen to you in your life might not totally be caused by your village people. Over 50% of the things that happen to you was probably caused by your bad mindsets, your attitude. I'm sure you've heard many times, determines your attitude. The heights great men attained wasn't by flight, but it was through hard work that they did while their counterparts, while they were their time. It is your mindset that will make you understand the importance of time. And it's also your mindset that will make you understand the times. There's a difference between understanding the importance of time and understanding the times. It is only your mindset that will bring about discernment and wisdom for you to make that understanding and distinction. But one thing I'll tell you is, a man that has value for his time will have an understanding of the times. I want you to write that down. A man that has value and understanding of his time will have an understanding of the times. Because a man that daily makes use of his time will become a man of the times. It is also your mindset that make you attract people that are not geared towards your progress and development. I tell people this, not every person out there is supposed to be in your camp. But you see, the truth is, when some people are in your camp constantly, and your mindset cannot discern that they are not good for you, then your life will never change. I want you to reevaluate the people in your life and what they have brought into your life. Take custody. Has it been impact or has it been lawlessness? What have they added to your life? It is your mindset that determines the kind of people you bring in. There are some people, they are leeches and parasites. It's never development, but it is shame they bring into your life. It is underdevelopment they bring into your life. It is bad counsel they bring into your life. If your mindset constantly harbors such people, you need to check your mind. Or else these people will bring ruins to you. You might be a man of all, but not everybody must enter your internal circle. Not everybody must have influence. There's a difference between multitude of counsel and influential counsel. In the multitude of counsel, you might have some Ahitophelic counsel. But the question is, who are those that have influential counsel over your life? It is not everybody you must listen to. Not everybody must be able to speak into your life. Not everybody must have counsel capacity over your life. Some advice are useless. If you have a friend that because you've made some money now tells you it's the time to take up another wife, then that's a killer advice. Because the only thing another wife will bring you is more penury and more misery. If people are bringing you counsel of how to be crude and wicked to the people, then you know that's a Ahitophelic counsel. Every as great as the quality of counsel it receives. Show me a good leader, and I'll show you somebody that gets good counsel. Show me a bad leader, and I'll show you a leader that gets bad counsel. So truth has to be said. What kind of counsel have you received? So what people are in your inner circle? Everything will be as how your mind processes things. Show me a good mind and show me you a good life. Show me a bad mind and show you a bad life. So the question is, where is your mind? A lot of you, your minds are in the gutter. You cannot make meaning out of your life. A lot of you, your minds are so poor, you think being rich is all that there is to life, money. It's a reflection of the poverty of mind. There are many more things alive than having physical cash. Nelson Mandela was not worth more than $10 million. But his impact is so long-lasting that the United Nations set aside a day to celebrate Nelson Mandela. Question is, how many billionaires have the United Nations set aside a day to celebrate them? Impact is not about money. Money is just an add-on to impact. It is the poverty of the mind that makes you think everything rises and falls with money. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. Quote that. I said that. It's been said before in a quote. It's not original to me, but I'm requoting it. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. And it's a mindset. And that's why you hear some Nigerians brag and say, I have more money than you. Anybody that says he has more money than you and he says in a bragging way, please, it's best you leave such company because they're a reflection of their stupidity. Because a man is rich does not mean he has wisdom. A thief can be rich. Write that down. Because a man is rich does not mean he has wisdom. In fact, a true man, a man that has wisdom, is a man that can easily forsake the material things of the world and focus on his impact for generations to come. Have you ever wondered why it was said in the good book that if you want to follow me, forsake all the things of the world? Because your wealth can be a distraction to your wisdom and your breakthrough. In the 10 o'clock hour, we are going to have something important. Some Nigerian students are stranded in Russia, Algeria, and some other parts. They are on international scholarship. Within the week, I had the time to interview them. We're going to play back that interview. You can continue to stream on Voice of the People 90.3 FM on our YouTube page, VOP 90.3 FM. But this streams on all my platforms. Rufai Oseni on Instagram, Rufai Oseni on Facebook, Rufai the Fire, Rufai Oseni on Twitter. Cumulatively, this has been streamed to a cumulative audience of close to 2 million people. 1 million following on Twitter, 313,000 on Facebook, and another 461,000 on Instagram. So cumulatively close to 2 million people are getting to be part of all the stream. And at the end of the day, we have close to 10,000 people or more that join us. 0818-099-1991. And we're still doing a lot of charity on this platform. We're partnering with a couple of charity outfits, Manjem Pharmaceuticals. We also have a lot of work we're doing at the Oseni Center in the Dogbolu. And there are more impact channels that we're opening up to be able to help people. And by the grace of God, we're also planning other health outreaches before the year runs out in collaboration with many other people. Only yesterday, our friend and brother, Proko Doctor, and Dr. Wali Ukulano, that partnered with us on our own platform when we had the health outreach in Dogbolu, also had the cervical cancer screening. And it was a massive success in Lagos. It was, I think, around the mall in Maryland. Congratulations to them. So we're partnering with many projects as regards health outreaches. Hello, wonderful Sunday morning to you.
Hello, good morning, my brother.
Blessed to have you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Manjem Pharmaceuticals calling from Abuja.
Good to have you, my brother. How are you? Bless you.
Yeah, happy Sunday to you.
Happy
Thank
Sunday.
you for this wonderful homily.
Yeah.
This morning. And I pray, I always pray for you every day, even though I believe that's what I can do for you, but I used to mention your name in my daily devotion every
Thank
time
you
I
so
pray.
much. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you. God bless you. So quickly, I sent you the logo of our new NGO.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah. So I shared it with you, and by the grace of God, we are moving forward and trusting God. But sir, I want to call this your attention to something concerning Icon of Hope, because through this platform, Mr. Johnson Pamela called from the US to partner with Manjem Pharmaceutical and Icon of Hope Support Initiative. guy came in contact to meet someone, and he called and he said he can develop the website for us, but he charged $250. Where am I going to get $250? Whatever I do, God has been using us for is by His grace. We don't demand anything. Throughout my medical outreach since I started this mission, I have never.
So if he charges you money and you don't have the money, then don't. There's no point. You can go. There are many quick things you can use to set up a website, weeds or something. You just buy the domain space. So it's not a big deal. You don't need anything elaborate. Just start with your means.
I said, let me call you in. You can recommend or refer someone to
No, I don't have anybody to recommend to you. Just go and check online. It's not a big deal. You can use Wix. There are many website creation thing. You can even create a WordPress website. Yeah, you can create something on WordPress. Maybe it's just a landing page and you put all your activities there. It's not a big deal. So start small and grow organically. You don't need to create an elaborate website. You can just go and create something on WordPress. You can go and research more on WordPress. Yeah, just create something small. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah, have a great one. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. 0818-099-1991. Okay, somebody sent a message. Prince Okonado, viral hepatitis B patient, national patient advocate. I'd like to appear on Facebook Live, to just call up the radio station. Hello, how are you? Great to have you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, yeah.
Yeah. This is your goodness. How are you doing?
Great to have you.
Thank you, sir. I want to talk about the topic you bring up concerning the people planning for protest.
No, I never said anything as regards protest.
No. I mean the mindset of people.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I want to go in that area because it's only in this country you will see people that speak much, people that complain much is the people that don't even have conscience. People that is always in the receiving end. They don't even care how others are feeling, and the people that always they quick to judge people, because you know that if you think that you are making a good record today, you never know that things can change. You can start making a bad record, and somebody that you think that the person, maybe he or her is making a bad record today, you never can tell. A minute can change. That person can start making a good record because whenever you wake up, for you to realize what you are doing, and that thing is not good in the sight of God. It's only a spirit of God that can talk to you. There's not a mass of people that can tell you what to do. Okay. You can only listen to.
Okay, so I pretty much get this. I get the slant of what you're saying. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Morning.
Very good morning, Mr. Oseni.
Yeah, morning. How are you? Yeah. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Henry, calling from UK.
Okay, go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, this is my first time being in your program.
Thank you. Morning.
Let me tell you, Mr. Oseni, the problem we in Nigeria have is we live where we're supposed to be going and be going another way. The problem Nigerians have today is the INEC and judiciary.
No, how does that correlate? I'm sorry, that doesn't correlate with the topic I talked about, the mindset. I want us to always stay on the topic. So if you have nothing to say about the mindset topic I said, I think it's best you just yield the floor. Let me get other people in, because it's also a mindset. Everybody thinks when you put up a program, everything is all political all the time. No, I talk politics Monday to Friday, but sometimes I'm impacting the hearts. And it's also a mindset for you to respect what I'm talking about, not call on the radio station and you're talking politics. No, I never set out on a politics conversation. It is about and mindsets. And that's what I'm talking about. And that's also a reflection of the mindsets. Hello. Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Great to have you.
God bless you.
Morning. Yeah.
God bless you. Bless your family. Bless your children.
Yeah. Are you about to talk about what?
Yes, sir. What I'm trying to say, I'm the one looking about helping about accommodation. Please, I never have any help. I need your help, sir.
But I've given out your number many times, so let's just allow people to help you. If they have not helped you, I think it's just best. No, hang on a minute. I've given out your number many times. If they have not reached out to you, it's best you are patient. All right. So please be patient. I've given out your number many times. If they have not reached out to you, maybe things are tough for a lot of people. So just see it that way. All right. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
0818-099-1991. So 0818-099-1991. When you call us up, please, I beg you, stick to the topic at hand. There's a deliberate reason why we put up this topic. And it's best we follow the topic at hand. It has to be said. 0818-099-1991. All of this is centered around mindset. You see, it's a mindset that makes you think. They're talking about something. I can call to talk about something else and veer the conversation off, and they'll allow me. It's a mindset of not respecting what is actually going on. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, great to have you.
Yeah, my name is Engineer Jonathan.
Where are you calling from?
Calling present enough from Ogun State.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. It's my first time coming across the program.
Thank you.
I paid attention and I actually listened to all what you said about mindset. Yes. I actually learned something. What I actually learned today was just your mindset controls everything you do.
Simple.
Because I've made to understand that it is what your mind decides is what your hand carry out. So your hand can actually carry out what your mind has not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for actually bringing this out. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate you. Thank you. So, I mean, it's as simple as that. See, it's the mindset of some people that they think, oh, Rufai is talking about something else. I can call and talk about anything else. And there's attention of the cause and things like that. So the problem is, you see, we have a lot of minds that are untrained. The problem of the world is if you have a population size of 100%, maybe only 30% has a trained mind. And that's what Vilfredo Pareto was saying in Pareto's principle. That if you redistribute wealth, it will go back to the hands of 20% of the people. Seriously. It's a mindset. Everything centered around that. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, great to have you.
Yes, you can call me Godswill. Yes, I'm about to head out to church, but I just want to find out, is this your number or the VOP number? This is 0818-091.
Are you commenting about the mindset issue we're talking about?
No. I just want to find out, this is the second VOP number or your own number.
No. Are you commenting about the mindset issue? This is not the second VOP number. This is just a number you can call on. But are you commenting about the mindset issue or you want to find out about the number?
No, I can't comment now. I'm heading to church.
Oh, yeah. Let me let you go to church. Don't be late, all right? God bless you. Good. So, it's about your mindset. And that's why you see that if you take all the wealth from people that have the wealth today, and you have a wealth redistribution, the people that have the capacity to recreate that wealth, it will gravitate towards them in no time. And the people that have complained about the unfairness, they will continue to complain about that level of unfairness. It takes a mindset to be able to create anything. It takes a mindset. If you don't have it, you don't. And that's why I said before, for some of you, this will be one of the most important messages. And for those that don't have the mindset to listen, it will just be another message. It will just be another talk to you. And you say, okay, I heard it again today. But your life doesn't change. So in the end, whose fault is it that the life didn't change? It's not the fault of me. But when you heard the word, did you use it for something? Did you decide to train your mind? So, truth is, what is the quality of thought that even come out of your mind? What does your mind speak? Some people, you engage them in the next 2 minutes, you know how their mind thinks. The problem with us in Nigeria is that as long as you can, as much as you criticize the leaders, a lot of Nigerians do not have beautiful minds too. And that's why it's so easy to manipulate them. So easy to manipulate them. Because they don't have beautifully trained mind, it's so easy to sow doubts into their minds. The easiest thing to do. The easiest thing to do. And you see the reflection everywhere. Because most of the population doesn't have a mind that introspects. It's so easy to sow seed of discord.
Mr. Rufai.
Great to have you.
The Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. You are listening to your number one station. The Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Do not touch that dial. Number one radio station.
Yeah.
What can we say about you after you have gone? That's what we need to have.
That's it.
What can you talk about me when I'm no more? So that's the cocoa. What I think that we should have. If that's not your brother, not the house, that's of full rice in your house, and someone is hungry. Shut up now. I can have a cup of rice in my kitchen than to have people suffering. So tell me that's the thing that matters about this country. So that's your message this morning. You want to have it here.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's it. And that's it. And that's why you thank you. Oh, tell me about it.
Some great apple. You know, we are about to reduce the way people intake of alcoholic and illicit drug. Sure, something someone will take away from Mushi. Which I think this go to, I know to go on that, sure, for some reason. But I know it's the real, how to thank your SLA for doing great. Sure, stamina. We have to join hands to make this work. It could be your brother who go into this. If we reduce it, sure, stamina, we won't be there to serve rounds. So let me just stop there. But we're doing great. We're still continue to talk to people. You think cannot help you. They can only help you for just few moments, few hours. After that, you are back to square one. It can't help. It can't help. Natural, be natural, so hard. So let me stop there. It's all fine.
Thank you so much. I mean, but thank you. Oh, I think I cut that off already. But Ambassador Musbal, they can still reach you on all the numbers that we had constantly put out there. He's been the one helping us to redeem the hearts of a lot of young people. I think it's 0803-572-8196. A lot of great work he's been doing out of motion there. And it's about the mindset. So, you see, It's about the mindset. The day you understand the mindset and you have a mindset that truly inquires, then your life becomes a lot better. That's just it. Hello, how are you?
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning. Where are you calling from? Please speak up a little bit louder.
Yeah, from Sweden. My name is Alex from Sweden.
From Sweden. Talk to me, Alex.
Yeah, I love this your topic. Mindset, Mindset is everything. And I can tell you authoritatively that why Africans are still poor, African is still poor is because of poor mindset.
Yes.
I'll use two illustrations or two examples. In Africa, once somebody, has money, he believes he has a lot. That is poor mindset. But in the developed world, if somebody, for instance, friends go out for a drink, and one of them will drive back home after it. That person, even though they are rich, but that person that will drive the vehicle they came with will never drink, get drunk, because they know that they understand that on their way back, police can stop them and they will be sanctioned for that. Mindset. But in Africa, because he has money, he has his car, he believes that he has authority. That nothing will stand with him because of him. He has money, everything. That is poor mindset. I'll give another example. I work in university there. You know, in university, the head of my department, we call everybody by their first name. But that's not the belief, respect, and respect in that department. But this is why we address each other by the first name. It's for you to keep free with people. But in our place, mindset thing, our professor. So when you mention professors, junior staff will not be able to have that courage to put you correct when you're getting the job. But here, the head of the department is a professor for many years, and I have in our meeting, I have a power to correct him in open when he's taking it wrong in the meeting. Even if we come to our meeting and see agreement and see how intellectual, intellect is what's going on here. Because everybody see themselves in the same level. Africa has a big problem. Until we start changing this mindset, we're not going anywhere.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. And that's the truth. Until we change this mindset, we're not going to go anywhere at all. We're not going anywhere. The moment we decide to change it, then we're ready to go somewhere. We're ready to make a change in our lives. We're ready to improve. We're ready to have better things in our lives. You see, it is part of the mindset that make others pull people down for their own selfish interests. It's part of the mindset. It's part of the mindset. Over the years, we've not built refinery in this country. Somebody built it now. Instead of us to support it, we're finding every form of way to pull the people down. And we're not ready. Hello?
Yeah, morning. I called previously, Engineer Jonathan.
You have spoken before?
Yes.
Okay. Normally,
someone said something.
Yeah.
Someone said something, and that reminds me. Day before yesterday, at Ajigule. Two twins, two brothers were fighting, and the other one mistakenly pushed the other one, and the other one fell and slept. Now, everybody was, you've killed your brother. You've killed your brother. Now, that mindset that guy had, because the mindset was not the right one, he went out and hanged himself and killed himself. Wow. Now, the mother and I are in a big pain.
Wow.
Very big pain. This happened before yesterday.
Wow. Wow.
So that brings us to that kind of mindset. What kind of mindset is that? Through fighting, mistake occurred. The mistake, you push your brother and he hit his head somewhere and he didn't go. You went and hanged yourself.
Wow. That's a sad one. So I mean, what goes on in this country sometimes? Wow. Very sad.
Okay, sir.
Very sad. So, I mean, I just gleaned something. Some people were was saying that we are not on TikTok. So I want to add, I've added TikTok too today. So we are also having this program on TikTok as we speak now. So Oseni Rufai on TikTok. That's the TikTok handle. And you can go out there and join also on TikTok, because I could see some of the conversation going on. So I said, let me make it more exciting. Let's see if we can add TikTok as much as possible. And what we're talking about is the mindset. Your mindset pretty much heralds your world. If your mindset isn't free, then definitely your world cannot be free. You'll constantly be in pain and penury. You'll constantly be in hurt because your mind is not free. Because all you know is constantly a deluded mindset that doesn't bring success or development. It's also a great mindset that helps you take corrections and heed counsel that will be beneficial to you. But the problem is, a lot of mindsets are already corrupted by their society. So that's why this talk about mindset and training your mindset, the first way to train your mindset is by reading. A lot of us have a poor reading culture. Somebody will have thought that with the way you have proliferation of social media, that with the internet, you have access to a lot of books. But some people, rather than reading things that educate their mind, still waste their time. So it's not the lack of access to the books. There are many free books online. It's not the lack of access. It's your mindset. Does your mindset even see the need to be able to read for your own personal development? The Yorubas have a saying, like we cook soup in granite shell and make pounded yam in leaf, those that will eat. At a time when you have the world library on the internet, you just buy data, 100 naira, you can have access to read a lot of things. But they don't still read. They don't still read. Over 200 million Nigerians are connected on the internet these days. Over 200 million devices are connected. At least according to the stats from the Bureau of Communications. But they don't still read. So even if you don't have the mindset to read the one on the internet, how do you then make the effort to go to a physical library? That's why I keep making library space available. I put up a library and I'm still giving opportunities. But when you have the time, what do you read? You don't read. A lot of people just do a lot of chatterbox. So when you don't expose your mind to new ideas, how do we get our mind up and running? How do we see the immense possibility the world has for us? How do we see the immense possibility? The question you should ask is, those that even have access to the internet, do they read? It's also a mindset. So the first way you can train your mind is with the quality of information you have. That's number one. Second way you can train your mind is the quality of engagement and counsel. What do you talk about when you counsel? What does your mind see? What does your mind breathe? What kind of capacity does it breathe? If your mind doesn't breathe good things, you can't be successful. So these are the things that bring about growth and development. But it all goes back to your subconscious and what you think about. And that's why I keep on preaching messages centered around the mindsets. Because if you miss the mind, you miss your life. And the truth is, many years to come, the greatest conversations will be about the conversations of the mind. All this we have today, I couldn't do 10, 20 years ago. But today I can reach the world because some people's mind created platforms, created TikTok, created this, created Instagram, created Twitter, created Google Meet links, and all these technologies is to be able to enhance productivity. Is to be able to have a proper understanding. And the last way to train the mind is not just only reading, but it's now perfecting those things and doing more research on your own. Trying out new things. And that's why I want you to glean the words we have preached today strongly and ensure that it becomes a blessing to millions of people. So God bless you all. Thank you so much. From 10 o'clock, we're going to play a lot of messages back to back, and we're going to play targeted messages centered around your mind. And you can still continue to follow us on VOP 90.3 on the live stream. God bless you all. It's been a great Sunday. I pray as you go this week, He will bless you, and He will manifest His glory strong in your life in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you guys so much for your time. I really appreciate each and every one of you.
Is that scholarship students under the federal government's bilateral education awards were being told that they're going to be giving us a certain amount of money, $500 every month, as our monthly stipends, right? So a contract was signed by both the students and the government, and now they are breaching their contracts, and they are slashing the amounts by 56%. That's over like half of the money. So now they're now reducing it to $220, right? And now that's not even the case. The case is that they've been owing us for 1 year, like a whole year and some months, and they haven't paid. And now the next news we're now getting is that they're slashing the money. Do you understand? So there's a whole lot of stories to this. Like, it's not even the first time. It's not like just the way I'm saying it, right? There's just a whole lot that has happened before in the past, and what we can come up with or what we can observe is that there is somebody there in the government or amongst the scholarship board, like one of the officials or somebody somewhere, that is sabotaging all the money. And using it for their own personal use, because now the media is carrying the news, a false news, that they slashed it by 12.6%. So if some media houses are carrying 12.6, some other people, we that have seen the memo, like the later they sent, it's being slashed by 56%. So even if they slashed it, so it means that they slashed it by 12.6%, but then somebody else is now taking the remaining 40-something% to themselves. Do you understand? So it's just a whole lot. People want to go and protest right now, like the students here in Russia. It's not just only Russia, other bilateral educational countries. We have Russia, we have Hungary, we have Morocco. And why it's really painful is because this $220 is nothing, in the sense that it's literally somebody's, like in some schools here in Russia, some universities, it's what we use to pay for their accommodation, their visa, and their medical insurance. Do you understand? So at the end of the day, there's little or nothing left for someone to even use and survive. And studying and working in Russia is very hard, like extremely very hard. And then for some reasons, Russia has tightened their security and working policies in such a way that some students, or most students, you can't work without a work permit. Some people have been sent back to their countries because of this whole issue of work permits. So it's putting people in a very tight situation, a very tight corner, in such a way that they are being forced to do certain things that they're not meant to do. Do you understand? They are working in different places that are not meant to work. You see students working in a construction company, being a builder or something, some working in a farm, some working as a dishwasher, some just doing some menial jobs just to survive. And then this money is so little that it can't even cater for a lot of things. You understand? Now, if at all, initially we were being told from the beginning that, okay, as you're coming here, you're going to take care of yourself, it's a really different thing. But this when you sign a contract and then you're breaking the agreements without our consent. So who agreed to this slash? How was this decision taken? So, aside this, a whole lot has gone on before now. And it's just like they feel they have ways to just do whatever they want to do, and we keep quiet about it. You're sending students to a foreign land. This is not Nigeria. You can't be comparing the equivalent of $220 here in Russia to that of the cost of living in Nigeria. It's very different. It's a very big difference. And it's looking like the money is a lot for us, so we should be able to manage it. There's a lot of sanctions in Russia. We can't do a lot of things. A lot of things are just being restricted. It's so hard right now with sanctions and everything. We were even fighting for an increase because the cost of living is now high. Things are very expensive. And then the whole medical insurance, visa insurance, accommodation, and other things, bills we have to pay from the school is getting high. And then they feel this $500 was even enough, or maybe it was too much, that they now have to reduce it to half of the money, which is literally nothing. I mean, it's nothing at all, to be very sincere. And it's just sad because some media houses are carrying some wrong information, you understand? So what we're trying to do is that we don't want to go on the protest. We don't want to carry the placards and all of that, because we're also trying to involve the Russian government, the Russian media house also, because if this is a bilateral clash between the Russian government and the Nigerian government, then if they can't continue with it, they should scrape it out. They shouldn't send students here to come and suffer, because it's suffering. I'd rather stay in Nigeria than come here and be suffering in someone else's land. Honestly, it's so sad and it's very disappointing, because if after owning us for one good year, do you know how people were surviving? They don't know. They just feel we are going to automatically survive on our own, or do this thing, have some extra source of income from heavens, or maybe we are seeing money every morning under our pillow or something. They really don't know how people are surviving for this past 1 year plus, and yet the next information we are receiving is that we are going to get a slash. It's very sad, very pathetic, because it is obviously, from the look of everything, we've analyzed everything, and we've just seen that it is someone somewhere that is sabotaging this money, using it for their own personal funds, for their own personal use and gain. and at the end of the day delaying us, because I believe the government allocates money for students outside of the country every year, and I believe they do it on time. Even if it's not on time, but there's just a whole lot of things. So what am I trying to contact you? We need your services, right? We need the media house. We need to have an interview, because we need to put this out there in the public. We need to make people know that. We need to let people be aware, the public, be aware of this thing, of what's happening, and we need to have an interview. Like we have an association, right, of scholarship students here in Russia, and so we have a president. We have like those in places, I mean people that are being put in, leaders that are being put in charge of things. So we're trying to make everything very coordinated and organized. We don't want to go on a protest. I mean, like, if everything fails, then protest is going to be the next option. Like, I mean, to go out there in the public and all of that, because it's very sad. We've been enduring for a lot of years, and then it's looking like they feel they can still just keep on doing what they're doing, and then we keep quiet. So yeah, like I said before, initially, we will need your services if it's possible. I will really appreciate that, and we believe it will go a long way in helping us like push forward and get some external bodies involved. Yeah, because we can't just sit tight and just fold our hands and just accept whatever comes our way. It puts people in a situation where it's that they're going to get expelled from school, or they are going to have to choose one. They will either lack in their academics because they're trying to survive, like work to survive. You understand? Yeah, so I don't know how you're going to help us, or how you think you can come in here. I mean, your media house and all of that. And also, if you have other like media channels or places that we can put out these things, I would really appreciate it, honestly, because we are trying everything possible we can do to make sure that this thing goes out in public. We are also writing memos, sending memos to the government, sending letters and all of that. So we are trying everything that we can do to just make sure that we don't accept the situation, because we can't accept it, literally. Yeah, so that's it. I wanted to have a call so that like I also get your feedback as well. Yeah, but whenever you listen to this, please try to respond. I'm so sorry, it's quite lengthy. Yeah, but yeah, that's the situation at hand, and it's not so good. Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Hi everybody, welcome, and thanks so much for joining me. There's a quick matter I would like to talk about, and I just had to bring this your way. It's about the plight of Nigerian students in Russia, and I'm going to have somebody, join me and talk to me about the plight of Nigerian students in Russia. Those that the money has been cut about the plight of all of that has transpired and that has happened. I'm going to have somebody, join me and talk to me about the plight of Nigerian students in Russia. Those that the money has been cut into half, and all of that has transpired and that has happened. And I must have to say that this is where we need to just reach out to them and help as much as we can, to be able to ameliorate the challenges they are facing. So, we'd like them, to join us up. Once they join us up, we'll be able to have the conversation, because I just called on them now. I said, let me do this before I have a need to run along. So request to join so that we can take it up from there and we can see what they're doing. So let me just ring them up and ask them to join. I request to join so that I know their Twitter handle, and we get the conversation going on. So just a minute, please. Hopefully we get them. Please, what's your Twitter handle? Have you requested to join? Okay, how quickly can you do that? Because I've started the live and I need to run to a meeting. If I don't do it now, I'll not have the time again.
Can you give me like 2 minutes? 2 minutes, yeah, 3 minutes.
I'll give you a minute. Can you join first while you try to connect with the other person to join, please?
Okay, sir.
So can you do that now? Yeah, what? So what's your so have you requested to join so that I know? A lot of people are requesting to join, so I know who are those requesting to join.
Let me send you a handle and also.
So I think it's best you request to join now because so that I do this quickly. I have a lot to do today, please, huh?
Okay, sir.
Good. So please try to join me. I've started the live already. So I'm just calling, because somebody actually sent their contact to me to reach out to me and see how I can help. Hello? Yeah?
People, I don't know whether they're responding to me. Let me request now.
Have you requested?
Not yet.
What's your handle?
Yes, I requested now.
Have you requested?
Yes, I requested.
What's your handle?
Favor Godwin.
I have not seen any request here.
I'm seeing you.
Have you seen me?
Yes, I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you.
I have not seen any Favor Godwin, no.
Requested.
Yeah, but I've not seen you here. That's it. Can you do a thumbs up with your Twitter handle? Can you do just a thumbs up? Can you say, Mr. Rufai, I'm here?
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, I keep saying Twitter. Pardon me. Instagram, please. So just say, Rufai, I am here from Russia. So I can pick you up. Okay, Favi, Feg, okay, I think I get her. Okay, to go live with you. Okay, good. So it's connecting. Has it connected? I think, okay, let me accept again. Go live, yeah. I've requested to go live with you. So, oh God, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I've requested to go live with you a couple of times. It's just, I don't know, it's not accepting or I don't know. So I have requested to go live with you on the third time. It's not accepting. I don't know what's going on. So you are Edet Favor Godwin, right?
Yes.
It said you couldn't join. I don't know what's happening. Okay, you know what? While I try to sort this out, let me end the call first. I said, let me end the call with you so that you can get more internet bandwidth and try to reconnect with you. All right, take it easy. Let me end the call first. So let me end the call and see how I can join. I can try to join up. Okay, let's see if it's gonna work this time. Okay, good. So let's see. And it's just a plight of the Nigerian students up there in Russia. Let's see if she'll be able to connect. And let's see how that is going. I've tried again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Goodness, man, I have a very long day today. Has she joined? Has Favor joined? So maybe she should try joining me again. Favor, if you're on this live, please try joining me again. Try joining me again, please. I beg you. I don't know what's going on. I've tried everything. They say you're not able to join. I think obviously I don't know, something is wrong on your end. So I'll just do a call with you. So we'll do it this way. So I've tried on 2 occasions. You can't join. So I think there's a problem. So Favor, just speak to, Nigerians watching this now. What is your plight? At first, have you guys been paid your scholarship fee in Russia in the last 1 year? What is going on? Talk to me.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So for the past 1 year, we haven't been paid our stipends, and we got in news after much request and after much pressuring and all of that. And then the news we got in later, that was on Wednesday, they told us that they're going to give us a slash for the year 2024. And now they haven't even talked about the outstanding fees of last year. So it seems like the slash is only just for this year. And now,
okay. At first, Favor, so that we get it right, reintroduce yourself. How did you get to Russia in the first place? You are there to school on behalf of Nigerian government and all of that. I mean, tell us the backstory first before you tell us about this price slash.
Okay, so my name is Trevor Godwin, and it's Trevor Godwin from Akwa Ibom State. And I came here on a scholarship in 2021. And before we came, we were schooling online. We had our preparatory class online, the language year. And then after the language year, we were able to move to the first year. And we had it online because of the COVID and the pandemic, the COVID pandemic that happened in 2021. And so after the borders were open, the Russian borders were open, we were allowed to come in to study. And so when we came in here, before leaving, we signed an agreement that that we are going to be paid a monthly stipend of $500 per year, and an additional of $250 or a certain amount for our clothing and upkeep. Yeah, and they've been keeping to that for the past years, but they haven't been paying on time.
So which scholarship is this? Does it have to do anything with the federal government of Nigeria? Which scholarship is this?
This is the Bilateral Educational Awards Scholarship. So it's an agreement between bilateral scholarship between Russia and Nigeria. They also give it to other countries like Hungary, Morocco, China, Venezuela, and there are about 7 countries, so there are about Serbia as well. And they give students about 50 to 100 students per year annually to come here to these different countries to study. And when you come here, you have to learn the language for a year before you proceed to the first year. And basically, that's how it has been. And the agreement was that when you come here, your school fees is taken care of by the government, by the Russian government, and then your stipends and your other things will be taken care of by the Nigerian government. And the Russian government has been doing a very good part in that. Of course, our school fees, we don't need to bother about that because it's covered already. And so this $500 that is being allocated to, that is being given to us every month, we use it to pay for our accommodation, our visa renewal, and our medical insurance. And then we use the remaining one that will be left to cater for our daily needs and other upkeeps. And this slash really costs very big. It's something that is very sad.
How many percentage slash is this slash?
This is like 56%.
And what did you guys do to qualify for this bilateral education award scholarship?
So for my sets, in my time when I applied for it, I first applied and then we wrote an examination, and then afterwards we asked to send our documents, our WIAT results, and the requirement was that you have to have a minimum of 5 A's and I think 2 B's thereabouts in your WIAT results. So basically they give it based on the people that merit it, outstanding students, I would say, and also with God, yes. Sometimes it might not necessarily go that way, but yeah.
Okay. So you said they were, and the government was, so you've been there since 2021, but they were paying you the $500 and your colleagues. But when did they, you said over a year they've not paid you guys. How many months are they owing you? And when did they start this slash?
Okay, so they've been owing us since last year, July. That's approximately 13 months, a year plus 13 to 14 months, yeah. And they started a slash. They just sent the message to us on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, right? That they're going to give us, we're going to have a slash of 56%. They're going to be giving us $220, not $500 anymore. So initially it was $500, and now they want to give us $220. That's like half of the money, which is literally nothing, because in some schools that's just their fees for accommodation, medical insurance, and visa insurance. And then at the end of the day, they'll have little or nothing to cater for their extra needs. And then for the preparatory class, the language year students, they are unofficially a student in Russia, because they're just learning the language. They haven't yet moved to the first year. So for them, some of them have to move to different cities, because this language here, it depends on where you are being sent to. You can live in a different city, in a different school than your main school. Do you understand? So now, when it comes to this period of time, they need to move to their main school where they will start their first year, the second year, and the third year, and they continue to graduate. And all this requires a lot of money for them. And also, it's going to put them, it's putting us in a very tight situation, because we haven't been paid for the past 1 year. We've been barely surviving. And then all of a sudden we receive this information that they are going to give us a slash. It doesn't just make any sense, because where was that agreement taken? Who was the one that's, how did they just take up a decision without the students being involved and all of that? And after owing us for a year, we've been waiting patiently, trying to ask them when are they going to pay our stipends, and then the next thing we are hearing, we are getting a slash. And then I don't know whether they expect us to just accept it that way, or to just relax and not say anything about it. Yeah.
Okay. So the program is designed for scholars, right? The Russian government pays your tuition, Nigerian government pays your support fee. Then you come back to add to the development of Nigeria. Because a lot of people on this live, that's why it's hurting me that they wanted to ask questions. So I want you to indicate if you want to ask more questions from Favor here. Another question I'd like to ask you. So they are still owing you the 13 months now, and now they're going to slash. How have you people been coping in this 13 months that they're owing you? How have you been coping?
So we haven't been. Oh well, some people have been working. Me personally, I run a fashion business, and it's what has been sustaining me for the past period of time.
Let's help you promote. What do you do in your fashion business? Let's promote it now. Yeah.
Okay, so my brand is an Afrocentric fashion brand that specializes in the use of African fabrics to create unique clothing and accessories, ranging from women's clothes to men's clothes to earrings, necklaces, and the rest of the thing. And we basically make use of African fabrics to create these pieces, right? And we cater for both the Africans and the Russians. And we've been able to participate in certain events, which has given us some publicity and also help to boost the brand. Yeah. Okay. And our Instagram name is Favorite Couture. So I've tried to
Favorite Couture. Okay, that's at Favorite Couture. Okay, so you can patronize. So that's the business angle. So it's because of, so it's your business that you've been used to send yourself in school in the last, about a month, about 13 months that they've not paid you and all of that. So okay, so some of them too have been doing other menial jobs like washing plates and the likes, right?
Yeah, some people have been working and doing some other things and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. So somebody's saying no, boss. No, we are not working. No. I think also churches too.
like there's just few students that have that can manage to work, because it's not so easy to work and do school here in Russia. So some people can't work.
Okay, not everybody. As I think some other people that are your also fellow students are also joining. Somebody's also hello. Please accept the request. Student association here too in Algeria. And let's tag the minister in charge. Okay, we'll see how all of that, pans out and works out, Faith. So you have a lot of your people too that want to join up on this,
on this platform.
On this platform. Just a minute, I just want to power up my device here because I need to run off for another engagement soon. So you have who did you call? You said
Did you on the line? Can you please
did what did this
and doubt so
okay, Dial 2. Let me see if I can go live with Dial 2. Hope it's not going to bounce it off with you. Yeah, okay, I can see Dr. Dial 2.
Yeah.
They said the 500 was even barely enough for you guys. Okay, yeah. Dial 2, how are you? How's everything, my brother?
I'm fine, sir. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Great. Dial 2, tell me what's going on with the plight of Nigerian students in Russia. I also hear those are in Algeria too are complaining. Tell me more about it, Dial 2. What's happening?
Actually, I'm in Morocco. So
Oh, you are in Morocco?
Yes,
okay, tell me what's happening to you guys in Morocco. Yeah. Tell me what's happening in Morocco. Are you part of this bilateral scheme?
Yes, I've been part of this bilateral scheme since 2017. I was given the award to study medicine, and that was 2017, just I think a year or two after Buhari became the president. So we got here, and life has just been there. Sometimes good, and sometimes it's challenges, as always. So right now, what is happening with the student is that we've not been paid for over 1 year now. I would say 13 months precisely, and it started last year when our money for January to August was appropriated. But you know what happened? The dollar was devalued, and the budget as at then was, I think, around 500 or 600. So when the dollar was devalued, it means that the money that is appropriated to the Federal Scholarship Board cannot be able to pay us all the arrears that they have to pay. So what happened was they paid for 8 months, but we had a shortfall. That's a dollar differentials of almost 2 months. I think it was like $1,123. So they told us that, okay, this is the issue. The dollar has been devalued. We cannot afford to pay. This is what we have. So we cannot allow you to staff. Take what we have. And then this one will be recorded as a dollar differentials. And when it is being approved, we are going to pay you. So the student took it. So that means we have like 1,100 in differentials. And we have the 4 months of 2023 also that has not been paid. So that makes it like 4 months plus $1,000. So since then, we've not seen any money. I mean, since August of last year. And right now we are in July. We've still not see any money. So this time around, the same issues that happened in 2023 happened this time around as well. So the budget was appropriated, and I think the National Assembly passed the budget at around 800 to 1 naira, $800 to 800 naira to $1 exactly. Yes. So, but right now, as we speak, the CBN is selling the dollar at about 1,600. Okay, so that means there is almost 50% cut in whatever that has been appropriated. So the FSB communicated to the Students' Union on Wednesday, saying that, okay, the money for 2024 has been released to us, but this is the money we have. The money cannot be able to buy the complete amount of dollar we need to pay you guys. So we can't allow you to staff. Therefore, we are going to pay you this amount, and then we are going to pay you this amount. So what the letter read was they are going to slash the money by over 56%, by over 50%, so that they will pay us what they have at the moment. So on receiving the letter, students were actually, because the letter came as if to say they are slashing the money and we're not going to get anything. So the questions were like, we're suffering, we don't have accommodation, especially for people here in Morocco. We have a lot of the landlords were chasing us out, and I think you come across videos online where you see the landlord begging the Nigerian government to pay students. So after all this plight, why are you now slashing this money? So the student union wrote back to the FSB to say that no, we do not agree this slash in the money that you are doing. We cannot accept it because it cannot even pay our rent, let alone other utilities, transportation, books, and other things that are necessary for you to live. So today, I think we got a clarification from the FSB to tell us that what they mean in the letter was they are going to pay us this percentage, and the latter percentage will be paid at a later time. So I think the student presidents, what they have decided to do is, okay, if that is the case, we want to have it in written form. The letter that we sent
the
to
students
reject this.
not decide that.
Okay. Let Olochi talk. Olochi, where are you joining us from?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are you joining us from? Yeah.
I'm joining from Russia.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, talk to us. Yeah.
Yes. So there kind of some information he's giving that I'm not aware of. So it's maybe question information. First of all, the student did not decide. The FSB did not inform us that the money they were slashing was that they'll pay us later. No. They told us, according to the letter, I don't know if I can display on Instagram, that the current rate is $220. Can you
display the letter, please? Yes, display the letter if you can. Yeah.
If it's possible to display on Instagram, but just a minute. Let me check for the letter. So, give me a minute, please. Where can I find this?
No problem, Olochi.
Yes. There was no information provided that they were going to provide more money or anything. They just said the last rate was $500 and now they are going to pay us $220. That is what has been causing the outrage after owing for 13 months. Just a minute.
Can I come in?
Yes, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was the former student president of the Nigerian students in Morocco, and I am still part of the union of the bilateral education agreement where all decisions are being taken. So I'm actually talking from the point of knowledge. I'm not just saying it from what we've seen as students, and I'm trying to give the explanation here. The same way the students interpreted it, it was the same way we interpreted that letter. Hence why I told you that the students' union sent back a rejection letter to the FSB to say, because of our current situation, we can't accept this. $220 is not even enough, especially for us in Morocco, to pay rent. So what happened was we have the parent union. So the parent ESCO went yesterday to meet with the Federal Scholarship Board. They met with the director, and the director said that in clause 4, they meant they were going to balance 2023 and 2024. So when they said that, what I think the student leaders now agree on is, okay, there is no problem. If that is the case, we can take this money. But before doing so, this letter you sent, it is not clear enough. So we would love you to reply to our rejection letter, telling us that what you meant in this letter is that the balance of so amount is going to be given as soon as the money is paid. That way, the student union can have an evidence, because this is why she's talking from a point of evidence. Yeah, I know she has a letter. So that way, when they reply to us, we can have an evidence and we can show to the student, okay, this is the evidence FSB said. And then after that, we will be able to say, okay, we're going to accept it. Why fighting for the other? But before I let her come in, the most important point in this conversation is that we are calling on the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to look into this situation. Students have not been paid for over 1 year. Here in Morocco, we're owing landlords. We've been looking for rent to pay for. We've been looking for debt to pay for houses. Our parents are indebted. They have gone to the extent of taking loans because their salary cannot afford to buy enough dollars to send to students abroad. So we've taken all those, and all those things we are taking it with the intention that when the federal government pay this money, it will be enough for us to offset this debt that we have. So we're calling on him to look into this plight. Students are really, here in Morocco, except in Africa, we don't have part-time jobs. So students are barely struggling to survive, and people are trying to hold on to themselves. The young girls can start thinking of prostitution. The young guys can start thinking of drugs. So we cannot afford all these things. It's going to dent the image of Nigeria at
Thank you
the
so much,
international stage. So we're
darling.
calling on him to please look into that. And then a supplementary budget was sent. So this is the question we will really need the FSB to answer. Okay, if this money is going to be paid, as you said, okay, a supplementary budget was set. Were we captured on the budget? Is it going to be appropriated now and paid to us? So we're only appealing to him to speed this process so that the money will be paid to students and will be able to alleviate the suffering students are going through.
Olochi, your reaction to all of this?
Yes, so I'm completely baffled because we are FSB students and coming together to say FSB said they would pay us $220 as half payment and offset it later is completely, I'm believing it. If we believe it, we are fooling ourselves because there was a case. 2020, there were this set of students that came to Russia. They had COVID issues. Their money was released. FSB told them that because they were not in Russia or outside, sorry, not just Russia, the different countries, they would give them 300,000 naira for what do you call it, for airtime and all, and release their money later on. These children came to Russia. FSB gave them only 300 naira, released nothing, and they have a shortfall of I don't know how much, and even threatened the kids when the kids wanted to speak up. So the federal government is coming on to tell us right now, after they say that we are not happy, there's outrage, that they are going to give us the remaining balance later is completely foolish because I just displayed the letter. The letter said that the balance, the money before was 500, it is now 220. What is stopping the federal government from sending what they have as 500 without sending it as 220? Him is talking from a position of someone that has probably been communicating with parents who are pro-FSB and other leaders who also are pro-FSB. I'm talking from the point of view of an average student who is not even aware of the manipulation that is going on.
Okay, so let's do this, guys. One thing I can assure you is I will give my platform for us to do follow-ups and ensure this is sorted out. I will want you guys, if Dalito has said they were going to pay XYZ, can we also agree to meet maybe sometime next week to see a follow-up on what has happened so that we keep amplifying this? And I'm also going to relay this, across many media outlets as much as possible. Why I decided to step in when I was sent the message was because I care for a lot of our Nigerian students, and I want you guys to know that you're not alone. So if you say, oh, there are some people that might be pro-FSB and everything, can we touch base on this next week again, if any development has happened? And I can assure you that we'll constantly keep putting this on the front burner. And Dalito too, can you also touch base with us? I mean, Favi Couture linked all of us together, but I can also set up a live. We can plan a time and we continue this conversation. My own point is I want you guys to be okay. If you're okay, because I know what goes on. I don't like to say the things I do for a lot of Nigerian students in diaspora, but I know how I had to make money available when some of the students that had the problem in Ukraine were in problems. And I know the role I play. I don't like to toot my horn. And these are the things, because I know you being somewhere far away from home is a very difficult one. It's difficult, very difficult for everybody. You just imagine Moroccan landlords, doing all sorts to you guys over there. It's very sad. Or just imagine Russian landlords.
Russia. Some students
you can't even work in Russia.
It's really
That's the sad one.
to do so many jobs.
That's the sad one. So, guys, I can.
Everything. Sorry for interrupting.
I can imagine.
It's just so painful.
Yeah. So, Dalito, can we all meet next week again and touch base and see if anything has happened? But I definitely know on this live, a lot of people in authority or people that know people in authority are definitely watching, and they've heard all your arguments today. All right? Can we all work at this?
Can I give this clarification? Because she made mention of pro-FSB and the rest of the things. Okay, probably she may refer to other people, but as far as the students are concerned, the cry is different. All I was giving is a question you asked, so I wanted to give you the clarification from the side of the government as well as from the side of the students, which you now both have it, and I know you know where to hit the
government has several
axe on.
sides. I've
So
never
actually,
benefited
at
of
this
money
point,
with their
I think
side all the
what
time.
we want, like I said, is for the money to just be released once and for all, and the students should be paid. That is all we are clamoring for. So whatever explanation they are giving, basically it is their own working and then administrative process. All the students want at this point.
By the way, when is this money going to be paid?
That is the
question.
Okay,
say what you want.
It's not
just say what you want to
say. By the way, the director of the FSB implied that if you do not collect the 220, you should get out. So right now they are saying they are trying to, there was no information, no nothing, no communication. They just drop a memo and said if you don't collect it, rest. So what he's saying is quite annoying because it's making it look like they have better plans for us, made us aware and we are still fighting. No, they did not.
Okay, so Dalitu, when did the FSB said they were going to pay this money?
Exactly. In the letter they sent, that was what I was giving you explanation. When the letter came on, all of us rejected it. Even the student union, we sent back a rejection letter that we are not accepting it. So they came to say that in clause 4 of the letter, where they wrote that the balance of 2023 and the balance of 2024 will be paid when the money is made available. That was their statement.
So when will this money? Exactly. When will this money be made available?
That is now the point I'm making. But I understand her frustration. Actually, that's now the point I'm making. We've been waiting for 13 good months. Even if it's a pregnant woman, she should have given birth to a baby of 3-4 months by now. We've been talking about there is a slash. There is a what do you call it? A shortfall. The dollar rate is high. We've been talking about that for over 13 good months. And as a nation, we still cannot correct this anomaly when we know the problem is from the dollar and we still cannot solve it. So the solutions we are proposing for them in the future, because this dollar devaluation has come to stay and we cannot be having this fight every year. So what we are saying is that the government should either peg our own money in dollars, since they know they're paying us in dollar, where we would have no complaint with naira has gone up or dollar has gone up, just pay it to us in dollars straight away. Or if you are not going to do that, then once the budget is passed, send our money without any of these issues. So when are they going to pay? It is when we can't even see. So the best thing for us right now is
do you guys know probably if they have put your money in the supplementary budget? Because there's a supplementary budget of 6.3 trillion that's been moved to the national. Do you know if they put that money in there, or you don't know?
I made as well. What we want right now is that there's a supplementary budget of 6.6 trillion, and you are coming to say that you have a shortfall. What have you done about it? Is it captured in the supplementary budget? Is it passed? When will the money be released? All those things is not even, the information are not out. All they're telling us is that we have
do not communicate with students. All they just
they have this amount of money and we are going to send it and then we'll complete the rest. So the completion of the rest for 2023 has not been completed up to date. 2024 we are going into the same issue.
Okay, so guys,
we'll have the same issues. So all we're appealing is they should have a total amount of money that they need to offset the areas of students, and we're appealing to the president that you should look into that particular amount and release it so that these students will be paid and then they'll be able to live their a better life outside.
Paid how much? Please, doctor, paid how much?
They should calculate all the money, all the areas, and then go ahead.
What?
They went for an interview and come in place.
Top J. Okay.
They went for an interview in the National Assembly. And the Committee of Education in National Assembly, I remember clearly what the man told the director and the permanent secretary as at then, who is now the head of service. He told her, you complained of this same problem last year, and this year you are still coming with the same problem. Why can't you just give us a reasonable amount that we are going to appropriate and this money will be paid once and for all? So we are in the same place. In the same place. What I want Rufai here to understand.
Dr. Dalitu.
Dr. Dalitu. It's not that nobody. The director herself is here.
Dr. Dalitu, let Top J. Top J. How are you? Where are you from?
Yeah,
where are you?
I'm from Russia. I'm from Russia.
Yeah, from Russia. Okay. What did the director tell you of the FSB yesterday on the call?
From yesterday's call, it wasn't with directly the director herself. The call was with the president of the parents group, or the parent association. They had a meeting yesterday with the director regarding our stipends regarding the whole slash, the reduction, and everything. So, what, according to him, he said the director presented a rejection letter from Algeria and from Russia that has been sent, that she had received and acknowledged already. And her response to this rejection letter to the parents was that she is going to write a letter and send to the respective embassies of every BEA countries, telling them or notifying them that any student who feels he or she wants to collect this $220 should sign an undertaking and collect the $220. Any student who feels no, he is not going to collect the $220 should sign an undertaking stating or rejecting that he is not going to collect the $220. Now, what does that imply?
Is that all she said, sir?
Not all.
No, wait, Dalitu.
Dalitu,
Please don't
please, if you're
interrupt,
not a
man.
student or you're not
What does this
pro-student, I
mean?
don't see
This
why you're on
implies.
this call.
Oh yeah, it's okay, guys. Don't interrupt. Let him man talk. Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Talk.
So this implies that there has been a mind game going on from day one. Now, anyone who accepts the $220, FSB has the right to come back any other day and say you have collected your money and you do not have the remaining $280. Anyone who rejects the money,
don't interrupt,
now
please.
I can't hear you.
The FSB started giving a different explanation as to regarding the
So we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So the explanation they were giving to this letter now was that they never stated any reduction. The only thing they mean is that this is the money they have, and the money they have decided to divide it across the 12 months, and it amounts to $220. So they are going to pay this money $220, and as stated in clause 4 of the memo we received, they are going to pay the remaining balance at a later time. But if you look at the letter itself, the letter is contradictory. The letter clearly states that due to the economic situation, they have decided to make an adjustment to our stipends from $500 monthly to $220 monthly. Then down there on class 4, they now stated that they are going to pay back this money. So it is, when you look at the letter, it is contradictory. So now, what we yesterday told the president of the Parents Association is this: we are going to make sure we write to FSB, requesting FSB to meet with all leaders from across all BEA countries. Let's sit down. Let them give us a detailed explanation from clause 1, clause 2, and clause 3 and clause 4 of their memo. What does each clause mean? And from there, this is our stand. If you say what you have is enough, is only going to amount to $220 for 12 months, we have the right, because what the students have voted is, okay, pay us the original money, which is $500. If this money is for 5 months or for 6 months, we will accept it, just like we did last year, and wait for the shortfall. Whenever the shortfall comes, we will clear the shortfall. But why are you now dividing the money across 12 months when you can just give it to us the way it is for this, and specify the month you are paying for, just as it was last year? So something is going on, and then they sent the letter to us directly, but now every reply we are getting from the director herself is coming through phone calls. Why is it coming through phone calls? We want everything written, official statements, so that if tomorrow something happens, we have official statements. But when it comes to phone calls, we might not have the records of those phone calls, and she can easily deny saying this. So that is why, that is our stand. And you have tried to, I personally have tried to reach out to the one of the officers in the embassy today. They said they can't give us any clarification. We should call the director herself, and we have still not been able to reach out to the director because we have invited her for a meeting, but we have tried to.
Okay. So when you write that letter, what you're going to do is you can send it to Fav that reached out to me. I will post that letter on my Twitter page. Once you write that letter,
we are inviting
send it to me. So once people write that letter, send it to me. I'll post on my Twitter page. Probably Favor will organize all of us again. We'll meet again next week and keep holding these sessions on Instagram until something's done about it. I think it's a deal, guys. I have a lot to do this Friday. I'll have a lot to stay longer with you guys, but I appreciate you guys. You are the future of our country, and God bless you. Okay, I hear you have the letter already. So please send the letter to me so that I can post on my page and we can copy who the director is on across social media, and also I will amplify it in media. So You want to say
Please, what I
something?
yeah, sorry, please. So there was, the message, the call yesterday was late night, around 12 midnight in Nigerian time. So there was no time to communicate all of this with students. So Gigi here never knew about the call. He said that Hatu later joined us after the call. We explained everything explicitly. So he was trying to explain, but Gigi was not aware of it. So that was where the confusion was coming in. So that was why
No
I have
wahala. No wahala.
Hello,
In the
sir.
end, all of us
Hello, sir.
all of us want a better life, and we want money. So that's just the most. But I thank you guys so much. I appreciate you for your time. I have to run along into many other things I do now. Dalito, you want to say something as we wrap up?
Yes, sir. I have your contact. This letters is talking about has been written already. We've had meeting twice, day before yesterday and yesterday. We've sent them a letter individually, and the union also have a letter which we have sent to them already. All I'm trying to say is that we want to give you the detailed information because we all agree that we don't know when they're going to pay. But when you have a detailed information of what is happening and what they are saying, I believe it will guide you, it will help you on how to help us. So I want to just say this to clarify that particular statement. And whatever we are saying, we as leaders, we are trying to give the exact situation. That was why I asked him when he said, director said, come and sign and go. I asked him, is that all? That you said no. But that's not what she said. She said, if you want to take this money, come and sign it and tell us you will take the 220. When the remaining balance come, we will balance you. But if you don't want to take it, sign it that you don't want to take it. The money should remain in the embassy. When the balance comes, then they pay you everything because you cannot send it back to the coffers of the government. So that's just the point I want to make. We are going to give.
Okay.
I have your number. I'll send you every information, every letter that is necessary, all that we've done so far, and I believe we'll keep in touch till this matter is solved, inshallah. Thank you so much for your effort, and we really appreciate it on behalf of all the BA students.
Mr. Rufai, can I say something, please?
Just to clarify something.
In addition to what?
Okay, let Favor say so because it's connecting via my phone. Yes, Favor. Yeah, you're saying.
I would want to say I object to that because this is kind of tricky in a way because in our sense 2021, the same thing they also told us that the money is going to be given to us and then like when it's for us to go and all of that and then at the end of the day we haven't paid that money. So it just kind of shade in a way. They will tell us to sign it now and then later on they'll tell us they didn't say anything or they will deny the fact that they didn't say it. So do you understand?
We are not going to rest. That's why Mr. Rufai is here to help us. We are not going to rest on it. We're only saying what they say. We are not going to rest on it.
That was my sense also. The same thing happened in my sense.
Guys, so we'll follow up this way. I get all your points. We'll follow up this way.
Federal government will try to make themselves look better and avoid scandal, just to lie for anything. They've done it before. And it's unfortunate that the leaders are following them.
Okay, it's fine. You guys, please, united you stand, divided you fall. Next time when we come, I must see a sense of unity amongst you guys. You cannot win without being united. Enough said. All right? So after this call, you guys will still have to talk, iron out your differences. When we come to the world again, we must see a sense of unity. And so that we'll be able to get all of this done with. And so that when you guys graduate and you get your degrees, you come back to Nigeria and develop this great country. Because this is our country and we need to make it work. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rufai. I really appreciate you saying that.
Thank you. Thank you.
have asserted that Africans are poor because their leaders have chosen that path. It therefore gladdens me that I have been invited to speak in the presence of elected leaders. It has also been said that one of the reasons why corruption thrives in Africa is because Africa is in the business of canonizing thieves and sanctifying and celebrating the wrong people while it vilifies her good men and women. It has also been argued that Africans are in the business of punishing small thieves and electing the big ones into public office. And that is why, therefore, when one is asked to speak about corruption in Africa, one must ask the question why it is that Africa has never succeeded in this fight. I can't agree more that there is a place for legislation in Africa. But those who have observed Africa have also said that the problem of the fight against corruption in Africa is not the shortage of legislation. In fact, Africa has forests of legislation which are honored in breach. Which begs the question, what is the problem? The problem in Africa is that we have succeeded, rather paradoxically, to create an environment which allows thieving and thievery to blossom and thrive. We have created an environment that ensures that our men and women who engage in graft occupy positions of power and influence. And therefore, when one is asked to ask, what is it that other African countries have done in the fight against corruption which we can emulate, one must remind oneself that there have been a number of countries in Africa which have succeeded in the fight against corruption. And the reason why they have succeeded is because the leadership in those countries have demonstrated by word and deed that they mean what they say in the fight against corruption. As I said a few minutes before, African countries are quick to sign international instruments that speak against corruption. If you look at the countries which were the first to ratify the UN Convention against Corruption, African countries were in the forefront. If you look at the countries which were quick to adopt protocols that speak against corruption, African countries were in the forefront, and Nigeria was never far behind. If you look at the countries which adopted legislation against corruption, it is African countries. In other words, African countries have the inclination to sign anything on sight without doing what those things require and demand of them. So, it is not legislation in and of themselves. It is something else. It is the culture that we have evolved over the years in Africa of celebrating ill-gotten wealth. It is not the shortage of political pronouncements in many African countries. Those who occupy political leadership when they seek political office will invariably say that we are going to fight against corruption. But many times, in the fight against corruption, their understanding of it is that they should appear to be fighting corruption without actually fighting corruption. So the question that we must ask ourselves, what must we do, we who have the privilege and honor of serving our countries in the positions to which we have been elected in order to salvage our countries from the chains of graft. There are those Afro-pessimists who hold the view that Africa will perpetually and eternally be mired in the muck and mire of corruption. But the truth is that African countries have demonstrated that it can be done. Countries such as Botswana have demonstrated that when there is a committed leadership at the very top, corruption can be fought and can be fought successfully. Countries such as Mauritius have demonstrated that corruption can be fought. Countries such as Rwanda have demonstrated that corruption can be fought. And what they have demonstrated is that corruption is so serious a business that it cannot be left to the political class. They have demonstrated that corruption is so serious and ill that it cannot be the fight against corruption cannot be conducted on the basis of equivocal and vague political pronouncements or technicalities of procedure. They have demonstrated that sometimes there must be a deliberate conspiracy of institutions in order to fight corruption. They have demonstrated that the executive must positively and creatively conspire with the legislature, and that the legislature must conspire with the judiciary not to undermine those institutions, but to strengthen those institutions. And I hold the view that it can be done, and it must be done. Because if it is not done, many African countries will never realize their potential. It has also been demonstrated by those countries that in order to fight corruption, there must be collaboration of a continental nature. And it is not lost on me that the African Union has brought to pass the African Convention for Combating and Preventing Corruption, which is the continental instrument that allows African countries to participate in the fight against corruption through collaboration. And it can be done through regional efforts. In the ECOWAS region, the ECOWAS environment provides an opportunity for Nigeria and the countries in this part of the world an opportunity to engage in the fight against corruption in a positive manner. It has never been lost on me that the day Nigeria rises, that is the day Africa rises. You may not know, but 1 out of every 5 Africans is a Nigerian. And the reason, in my view, why Africa continues to totter in the manner that it does is because Nigeria has never realized our potential. The day Nigeria realizes our potential, that is the day that Africa will rise. So we are here today also to remind Nigeria that it must play her leadership role, not only in this region, but in Africa, by demonstrating by word and deed that Nigeria will be in the forefront in the fight against corruption. And it's not only at the continental level that Nigeria must demonstrate this. Nigeria must also demonstrate our leadership position in the world. The United Nations Convention Against Corruption provides several opportunities which can be exploited by member states, including Nigeria, to ensure that funds that have been ill-gotten are repatriated, and the men and women who engage in such unconscionable and harmful behavior are punished in accordance with the law, that the world may know that if you reap where you have not sown, there are consequences to it. It is also important to create an environment that is hostile for people to participate in corruption. There was a time when I believed that procurement laws in and of themselves were a magic wand, which upon being waived would eliminate corruption in the civil service. But over the years, I've come to realize that procurement laws only allows people to steal in accordance with the law. And that therefore do not be under the impression that laws in and of themselves will solve the problem. As a young boy, I read the great Nigerian writer Chinua Achebe, who said that since men have learned to shoot without missing, a naked bird has learned to fly without perching. So we who are here must remember that when we are enacting laws regarding procurement, sometimes we do so in a manner that provides an opportunity for bureaucrats to steal in a manner that lends a veneer of legality to their illegal activities. The quality of laws that we enact are therefore very important. We must also, as a country, look at the lifestyle of the individuals who engage in public office. How is it that in Africa, when an individual whom we knew to be a pauper is appointed as a public official, whom we knew to be a pauper is elected, permit me and forgive me at once, members of Senate and members of the House of Representatives, that no sooner have you set foot in the Senate or the House of Representatives than you become a millionaire and you begin to live as if money was not a problem. If it was so easy, why aren't all of us so rich? The privatization of public wealth without consequence is something that we must frown upon. And that is why lifestyle audits are important, and I urge you to enact legislation that will require Nigerians that before you build a house as a public servant, you must show us the source of your funds. You must tell us where you got the money. And if you did that, you'd be amazed that those who build mansions will be reduced by 99%. And corruption is something that also undermines democracy. That is the tragedy of corruption. And it has now been demonstrated that in the countries where corruption has been fought and fought successfully, democracy also thrives. I've already indicated to you countries such as Mauritius and Botswana, which are the only two countries in Africa ever to have had budget surpluses, because the leaders in those countries have been in the forefront in the fight against corruption. The other thing that we must do is to create public awareness. And public awareness is not merely to tell the people that corruption is the wrong thing. People know. When people go to church on Saturdays and Sundays, they are told that corruption is a bad thing. When they go to the mosques on Friday, they are told that corruption is a bad thing. What we must do is to ensure that there is behavior change. And throughout history, it has been demonstrated that men only change their behavior when there is a threat of pain, the pain of deprivation or the pain of imprisonment. We must therefore ensure that those who engage in corruption are punished, and punished in accordance with the law. I was also asked to organize jointly with you, as I now do, what are the challenges that stand in our way in the fight against corruption? In a multi-ethnic, multinational country such as Nigeria, as indeed are many African countries, the fight against corruption is even more difficult. A friend of mine, in an attempt to rationalize corruption, once said, "How is it that fish can swim in the ocean without water getting into its mouth?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "When you work in the public service, how is it that you cannot take a little out of the public service?" And I told him, "You are not a fish, and if you are a fish, close your mouth when you are swimming." And he also told me, "How can you be tethered around a tree and you do not graze on the grass that is around there?" I said, you are not a cow, and even if you are, remember that the grass does not belong to you. There is no shortage of attempts at rationalizing corruption in Africa, and there is no way in which we are going to fight corruption without changing people's behavior. My prescription is that we must realize that those who engage in corruption belong to a different cadre of people, and that they must never be owned. The culture in many African countries that if a thief is from your tribe, you say, yes, we know he's a thief, but he's our thief. Must stop. This ownership of thieves, because they come from our ethnic groups, or they come from our social class, or they come from our religious circle, is one of the things that undermines the fight against corruption in many parts of Africa. We must therefore create an environment where those who engage in graft do not have places of refuge in their ethnic groups. We must not create an environment where when we punish people because they have engaged in graft, we then give them protection because they come from our tribes. It is a problem that is going to persist in a country such as Nigeria, but it is only through the legislature, which comprises people from all parts of Nigeria, that we can ensure that these thieves are not given the oxygen to breathe so that they can suffocate through their iniquities. Ladies and gentlemen, the fight against corruption is one which one can talk about for a long time. But when one is speaking in the presence of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, one ought to measure one's words. One only ought to say the things that ought to be said. And therefore, as I draw to the conclusion of my presentation, there are a number of things that I think are critical in the fight against corruption in the manner that it has been demonstrated in different parts of the world. The first thing that we must do is that we must strengthen institutions. Institutions are at the very heart of the sustained fight against corruption. Your President, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, is on the right path. He has given us a clarion call. He is now recognized the world over as one of the chief fighters against corruption. But I can tell you that no matter how well-intentioned he is not going to succeed unless you support him as the legislators. He is not going to succeed unless the institutions are strengthened. And in any event, the maximum he can stay in office is 2 terms. And let me tell you one thing about those who engage in graft. They have the patience that is amazing. If they can sleep quietly for 8 years, only to emerge as greater monsters in the 9th year. And therefore, what we must do is to create institutions that defy time. Those institutions must be institutions that are recognized by the law. If it is the institution of parliament, it must stay strong. If it is the institution of the judiciary, it must be purged of the men and women who engage in graft. If it is the institution of the executive, it must be strengthened. If it is the EFCC, it must be strengthened. If it is the civil society, it must be strengthened. It is only institutions that defy time that will ensure that we succeed in the fight against corruption. The second thing that we must do is that we must have a raft of laws which ensure that those who want to do things that are detrimental to the society are punished, and punished swiftly in accordance with the law, and they are not allowed to be unleashed to the unsuspecting public. And I am happy to note that our representatives from Europe are here. For a long time, Africans who stole from Africa had safe havens in Europe. It is my joy that even Europe now is beginning to close the doors. Under the World Bank, we have mutual legal assistance. If we can ensure that those avenues are closed so that they cannot keep their money away. What amazes me is that these individuals kept their ill-gotten wealth in numbered accounts. not their wives, not their husbands knew, so that when they died, this money was enjoyed by other civilizations. We must now ensure that those who serve in the public service do not hold accounts outside of this country. If they love this country so much that they serve her, why is it that they do not have faith in having their money in this part of the world? These are things that can only be done if we have sound laws. The third thing is that we must look at our education system. What are we teaching in the 143 universities in Nigeria? What are we teaching in our high schools? Are we teaching our young men and women that you can be celebrated simply because you have acquired wealth without a source being given? We must interrogate our curriculum, and we must involve everybody, religious leaders, traditional leaders, because how can it be that amongst the various peoples of Nigeria, you would not allow your daughter or your son to marry a thief who has stolen a goat, but a thief who has stolen naira is celebrated? We must give the goat and the naira equal value, because he's a thief is a thief. Lastly, I have no doubt in my mind that we must introduce hygiene in our politics. The day we introduce hygiene in our politics, so that our men and women who seek public office are men and women of integrity, so that our men and women who seek public office finance their campaigns in a clean manner, we will never succeed. I've always been amazed in many African countries that a person who, upon being elected, if he is a Nigerian, for 5 years will earn no more than 30 million naira, is prepared to spend 1 billion naira to go into public office. There must be something that they see that we, the electorate, do not see. And that thing is the ability and the opportunity to privatize public wealth. The day we introduce hygiene in our politics, the day we deal with the financing of our politics, that is the day that we will begin to sanitize our country, and that is the day that Nigeria will begin to be a great country. I look forward to the day, therefore, that corruption will be an exception rather than the rule. I look forward to the day, therefore, when the laws that we are enacting will be laws that will be observed. I look forward to the day, therefore, when we will have created an environment where we can prevent corruption. I look forward to the day, therefore, when national honors in Nigeria will be given to men and women who deserve it, not those who have bought them. I look forward to the day, therefore, when our young men and women in institutions of higher learning will have as their natural instinct the instinct to do good. I look forward to the day, therefore, when the EFCC may be abolished because there are no more corrupt Nigerians. I look forward to the day, therefore, when all these laws will have their pride of place. I look forward to the day, therefore, when the protocols of Africa and when the laws of Africa will be in the museum of history, because corruption will have been eliminated. I look forward to the day when we will be able to say, like the man in the Bible, corruption, where is thy sting? Corruption, where is thy sting? God bless. Your Excellency,
Hello, and this is Global Business Insights, where we look deeper at the headlines from a business perspective. Today, on the data front, the U.S. Personal Consumption Expenditure Price Index, PCE inflation, takes center stage. Analysts hope for another downtick in US PCE at a 2.5%, which could, barring surprises, confirm a Fed rate cut in September. We look at this metric and some of the latest data releases. Yesterday, it looked like the rotation theme in the markets was back. Small caps are up. Russell 2000 up 1.26%. The Nasdaq down marginally, minus 0.93%. S&P also minus 0.51%. Dow up 0.2%. As we get more earnings coming in, so far with about a third of the index already released, S&P 500 earnings per share is up 10%. Also today, this time in Singapore, the benchmark Straits Times stock index fell 0.2% after the central bank held its monetary policy parameters for a fifth consecutive quarter. The Monetary Authority of Singapore said the economy is expected to strengthen over the rest of 2024, adding that core inflation should fall to about 2% in 2025. And in America, the American Securities and Exchange Commission have approved the first batch of exchange-traded funds that are permitted to invest in Ether, the world's second biggest cryptocurrency. It's an alternative to Bitcoin, which saw its first SEC-approved ETFs launched earlier this year. And some tech news. Apple's iPhone continues to lose ground to other domestic models in China. Although China's smartphone shipments grew 8.9% year over year to 71.6 million units, Apple saw a 3.1% decline according to latest data. And in Paris, the Summer Olympics kicks off today. We look at the economics of what some are calling the greatest show on earth. And in Nigeria, President Tinubu is appealing to protesters against bad governance and economic hardship, planning to go to the streets not to resort to violence and turn Nigeria into a domestic crisis zone. The Paris Olympics opening ceremony will take place later today, running until the closing ceremony on Sunday, August 11th. They say it promises to be the greatest show on earth, as between 2.3 and 3.1 million visitors with games tickets are expected to visit Paris during the games. An estimated 2.6 billion euros will be spent by tourists traveling to Paris, but total cost of the Paris Games has been widely reported to be around 10 billion euros. Paris hopes hosting will stimulate development of infrastructure, draw tourism dollars, and boost employment. A recent independent study also revealed Olympic Games 2024 are economically beneficial and set to generate between 6.7 and 11.1 billion euros in net economic benefits in the Paris region, with an intermediate scenario projecting 8.9 billion euros in net economic impact. According to the study, most of the 7 billion euros in private funding for the 2024 Games comes from media rights, sponsorship and ticketing, but also private investment in long-term infrastructure projects, and it includes an IOC contribution of $1.7 billion in cash and services. Public funding amounts to about 3 billion euros and mainly covers projects that will address long-term needs of local communities. The broadcast rights are generally the most lucrative piece of the pie, and broadcasters who pay for the rights hope to sell more in advertising. Companies also pay huge sums for the right to use the Olympic rings in their advertisements. However, the Olympics have almost never been profitable. Still, it's a good show to show that you are a serious player on the world stage, and for Paris, it can be a massive boost for tourism. Compared to where it was in 2020, Apple has a larger overall market share in China than what we had in 2020. That was 8.8%. That was Q3 2020. Compare that with 13.6% today. But it is losing ground to domestic competition. Apple's market share fell despite aggressive discounting of iPhone models during the quarter, and we now see all local companies as the top 5 sellers in China, ahead of Apple iPhones. Xiaomi's smartphone sales benefited from marketing buzz around the launch of its first electric car, the SU7. Vivo, Oppo, and Honor are the other Chinese brands in the top 5. Huawei also launched its flagship Mate 60 smartphone series in September last year. Apple hopes new AI features will help its differentiation in Asia's more competitive terrain. Apple unveiled Apple Intelligence in June, also partnering with OpenAI to give Apple users free access to ChatGPT, larger AI models capabilities. If China-US trade tensions get worse in 2025, one can expect more barriers to be erected to stall penetration of US players like Apple. Apple looks unperturbed, having recently regained its number 1 position as the US's most valuable company, ahead of Microsoft and Nvidia. The US economy grew 2.8% in the second quarter, higher than 2% expected and 1.4% in the first quarter, further dispelling notions of a possible hard landing or recession. The build-up of inventories, however, added 0.8 percentage points to GDP growth in the quarter, following a decline in the first 3 months of 2024. So the higher GDP we are seeing may not be as reflective of consumer demand. Yesterday, US citizens that applied for unemployment insurance benefits, that's jobless claims, increased by 235,000 in the week ending July 20, below initial estimates of 238,000 and less than previous weekly gain of 245,000. Also, in US, durable goods orders contracted sharply in June, a 6.6% decline compared to 0.3% expected. Also, the worst durable goods orders report since February. Unlike the Consumer Price Index, which measures average prices of various consumer goods and services, Personal Consumption Expenditure Index measures expenditures based on how much money people spend on everyday purchases and includes a broader range of goods and services than the CPI. The US Federal Reserve tracks PCE as the key inflation metric in its summary of projections. The June summary of projections has the 2024 median PCE as 2.6% and core PCE as 2.8%. The long-run target for inflation is for the PCE index to increase at an annual rate of 2% over time. Today, economists see a 0.1% month-on-month rise in the PCE price index in June after no change in May, and monthly gains of 0.3% in February, March, and April. Year-over-year increase in the PCE index is projected to have slowed to 2.4% in June from 2.6% in May. The core PC index, which excludes food and energy components, is seen as rising less than 0.2% month-on-month in June and annually by 2.5% less than 2.6% year-on-year in the previous month. A surprise today will jolt probabilities around September Federal Reserve Bank rate cut. Next, on oil prices, we see several factors impacting the demand-supply dynamic. First is the demand from China, which is so far sluggish. Delayed rate cuts also means a firmer dollar, which hurts demand for oil. Better than expected economic growth, however, applies higher demand from the world's largest energy consumer, that's the US, which helps to keep prices slightly higher. Yesterday, Goldman Sachs analysts said that whoever wins the US presidential election in November will have limited tools to significantly boost oil supply next year, adding that strategic petroleum reserve stocks are low and regulatory easing. Yesterday, Goldman Sachs analysts said that whoever wins the US presidential election in November will have limited tools to significantly boost oil supply next year, adding that strategic petroleum reserve stocks are low and regulatory easing of supply may only significantly boost US supply in the long term. Goldman Sachs expects demand to be even weaker next year, hitting prices more noticeably, especially if tariffs go up, which will weigh on economic activity worldwide. Prices could be even lower if the Federal Reserve delays interest rate cuts into 2025 due to a higher core inflation rate. According to Rystad Energy, crude prices in the next few days will largely hinge on economic news from China, the likelihood of US rate cuts, and how negotiations progress in the Middle East. A reversal of much of the work done under the Biden administration for climate change, stalling progress of the Inflation Reduction Act, which incentivizes investment in renewable energy and clean tech, all will have implications. We could also see an end to restrictions on oil and gas leases, facilitating expansion of the fossil fuels industry, depending on who resides at the White House come next year. Brent crude, as we speak, over $82, slightly up, $82.48, up 0.13%. President Bola Tinubu has warned organizers of the August 1 nationwide protests against proceeding, as we do not want to turn Nigeria into Sudan, he says. President Tinubu said protests fueled by anger and hate easily degenerate into violence and set the country backwards. He added that the reworking of the social welfare scheme is in progress. That's in Nigeria, and he intends to make the impact more felt and closer to the people. There's always a place for peaceful protest and drawing more attention to lapses in governance and the social plight of the population. My take has always been that this government inherited a very difficult context with strong embedded interests, forcing compromises and slowing down the pace of change. Even where there are strong declarations of intent, weak institutions that need overhaul, and in some cases completely reinvented, means implementation will be slow, if not completely stunted. The government may also have underestimated the challenge before them. The people may be more impatient, and rightly so. And communication to carry people along, exposing proposals to more discussion and getting more inputs are all areas for improvement. My sense is that the tone is right and the direction of reform has already been applauded as broadly well articulated. Implementation and courage to sustain an initially strong momentum are all areas that are being watched. 3 areas calling for immediate acceleration of reform. First, people welfare issues. Second, infrastructure. Third is plugging fiscal leakages from bloated structures, corruption and low productivity. And of course, we can't forget the issues around security. None of these will be addressed by violence or massive disruption that only looks like set to birth a different chaos. As we close, we look at Asian markets mostly rebounding after yesterday's sell-off. Traders also digesting July inflation data. That's from Japan, which slowed slightly to 2.2% in July from 2.3% in May, while core inflation rate, which strips out prices of fresh food, remained unchanged at 2.2%, in line with expectations. Looking at indices, Asian indices as we speak, Nikkei 225, that's the Japanese index, down 0.53%. Hang Seng, that's the Hong Kong index, up 0.13%. The Shanghai Composite, the Chinese index, up 0.14%. Shenzhen also up 1.45%. The South Korean Kospi is up 0.78%. Well, that's it from me on Global Business Insights. This is Bode Oshosami. Thanks for sharing and following or subscribing on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube and X. Please send your comments. Again, thank you so very much for watching. Bye-bye.